Hi everyone, my name's Breiane Cage. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I'm here with my girl Gina, and we are going to talk about mental illness, mental health, and all things life. So, the question and answer of these videos is all about Gina trying to stump me. So I don't know what the questions are ahead of time, and she's just going to ask me whatever is probably trending, which I usually don't know about because I'm not active on social media. And we'll just see how this goes. So, all right, Gina, what do you have for me today?
I do have a question about something that's trending.
Okay.
And it's something that I have just recently been hearing a lot about, and I have no idea what the real definition is, but it's imposter syndrome.
Oh, good old imposter syndrome. So I first heard about imposter syndrome when a client came into my office and told me they had imposter syndrome, and I asked, what was that?
Self-diagnosis.
And so once they explained it, I understood, and then somebody else came into my office not long after that, and I started wondering, like, what is happening? Is this like a new thing? Anyways, let me explain imposter syndrome. So, imposter syndrome was a term coined in 1978 by two psychologists who were seeing a lot of women come in with a issue in self-confidence in the workplace, which makes sense, right? And back in the 70s is when women started to go to work, and so it makes sense that they felt like they were a fraud. It makes sense that they thought, they didn't belong and that somebody was going to figure it out, right? That's essentially what imposter syndrome is people feeling like people think they're smarter than they are, or that people, think they can do things that they really can't do. But that's not actually true, because honestly, anybody can do anything as long as you work hard and put your mind to it. So, I don't really see that as a problem. Now, with imposter syndrome today, and again, I don't even know how this got back into the world, to be real honest with you. Nobody picked it up. Not the Psychological Association didn't pick it up. The Psychiatric Association didn't pick it up. No one picked it up, and it never made it into the diagnostic manual. But then again, I find that there are a lot of things online today that are not in the diagnostic manual, but people are diagnosing themselves as. So, but with imposter syndrome, it is actually just a low self-confidence, not believing in yourself, and that is not what a syndrome should be, right? A syndrome or a disorder is something that, you don't necessarily have control over. Whereas imposter syndrome, that's like saying you caught a cold. Oh, I caught imposter syndrome. No, you're struggling with low self-confidence. And the fact of the matter is that you can turn that around, and you can turn it around pretty quickly. You don't have to work really hard on it, depending on how low your self-confidence is, and depending on if it's also coupled with low self-esteem. So, but again, still, things that can be fixed if you do the work. I mean, couple months and you'll probably be feeling a lot better. So,
we've kind of talked, or you've told me, getting to the root core of things and fixing your thoughts is so huge to healing. And so it sounds like this is one of those things that if you really work on your beliefs and thoughts and core values, that will change that.
Yeah, it is. It's all with your thoughts. You're the one who's saying, I'm not good enough for this job. And, for all of you who are in your 20s and you're just now entering the workforce, I want you to know that nobody is expecting you to know everything. Especially when you go into a new job. Gina, how many jobs have you've started new jobs. Don't they always have a training period?
Yes, and it's especially when it's something brand new, you have to give yourself so much grace during that time without being hard on yourself verbally,
Right. And everybody around you is expecting you not to know everything. They're expecting you to need to ask questions. They're expecting you to need to learn policies and procedures of that company. So don't get discouraged and don't tear yourself down. That's the worst thing you can do for yourself. Believe in yourself. You know, especially if you're going into a job where you just got a degree for that field, well, then you're as prepared as they're expecting you to be, and don't worry so much. So give yourself a little grace, as Gina said.
Take that advice.
Yes. All right. Well, that's it for today, and we will be coming to you with more question and answers with Breiane and Gina.
And we didn't stump her this time.
Spread love.